Hi, this is Tara with Index Data, and this is how to check out an item in Folio. To start, we're going to go to the Checkout app. We'll scan the patron's barcode under Scan Patron Card on the left-hand side, and then we'll scan the book's barcode on the right side under Scan Items. The checked out items will appear below. We can check out any additional items by scanning their barcodes in the same field. When we've checked out all the patron's items, we can click on End Session to clear the screen. When checking out an item, if you don't know the patron's barcode, you can use the Patron Lookup feature to look them up by name or other identifier. Select the patron from the search results to bring up their record on the checkout screen. Now there are a few kinds of pop-up notes and notices that you might see while you are checking out items. For example, if you scan an item and the barcode scanner misreads, you might get a notice that the barcode wasn't found. For this note, you might try rescanning the barcode or searching an inventory to see if the barcode really exists. Another pop-up you might see is a checkout note. This is a note applied by a staff member that will give you more information that you might need at checkout. It's important to read it, and then you can hit cancel or confirm as appropriate. Another kind of note you might see is a multiple pieces note. This kind of note will give you more information about the number of pieces on the item and any missing pieces that you might need to know about. You can go ahead and hit checkout if everything's okay to check out the item to the patron. Another type of note you might see is an item status note. This is a note informing you of any status on the item that might affect the checkout. So in this case, this item has a restricted status, so we can either confirm to check out the item to the patron despite the status, or we can hit cancel to make sure this item does not get checked out. The next kind of pop-up note you might see is an override circulation policy note. You'll see this type of note when an item wouldn't normally circulate to this type of patron, or it may be non-circulating overall. You'll have two options. You can either close to avoid checking the item out entirely, or you can hit override, and that will override the item's actual policy. When you do that, there are 3 required fields that you will need to fill out: the item's due date and time, as well as a comment explaining why the policy was overridden. When you hit Save and Close, the item will be checked out to the patron. If there are questions later about why, for example, an in-house use item was checked out, you can look at the loan details on the item and you'll see that comment that was left when you checked the item out. The last kind of pop-up that you might see actually happens when you first scan the patron's barcode. This is a patron block. So you'll get a pop-up note that lets you know that this patron is blocked, and you'll be able to view block details, override, or close. If you view block details, you'll be able to see why the patron is blocked, including any staff notes. When we return to the patron checkout app, we'll see that the block icon is still visible, but the pop-up note has disappeared. But when we try to go and scan a book in, it'll pop up again. This time we'll go ahead and hit override, and we'll be required to add in a comment explaining why the block was ignored. That comment will be visible under loan details if there's ever any questions in the future about the block. Now you'll notice that the item did not check out after we hit Save and Close. That's because the override is for the entire session. So when we go and scan the book in again, it worked this time. Now there's one more thing we're going to look at in the checkout app, and that is the meatball menu available on each item. From here we can see item details, the loan policy, but there's also an action in here, which is change due date. When we click on change due date, we'll be able to select a new date and time that this item is due. When we hit Save and Close, we'll get a confirmation. When we hit close here, we'll see that it's been changed in the main checkout app as well. And that is a very basic introduction to how checkout works in Folio.